Now, there's an old saying, but very true one, that there's no substitute for momentum. If you look at some of these dunes where the pictures, if it was nice, firm, hard ground, you could crawl up there at 2 miles an hour because the traction on these engines or the four-wheel drive would take you up there. If you tried to go up start climbing some of these dunes at 2 to 3 miles an hour, you won't get anywhere. You've got to start back here and build up a certain amount of momentum that will help you and take you up the slope. Now that doesn't mean to say you've got to back off a mile, get it into, do a wheelie start and be doing 100 miles an hour when you hit the dune, because if you do that, you'll break everything. And it shows a definite lack of finesse. Just judge the amount of speed that you need. You're not going to get it right every time. The people who really do get it right are those who start at the bottom, go all the way up to the top, and they can lift off the throttle maybe 5 meters before they get to the crest of the dune, and the momentum of the vehicle will take them over the top. Now when you can do that, you're judging it right. Is that about right?
Yes, sir.
The last 5 meters to go over the top, the impetus of the vehicle is taking you. You don't actually have to drive it. So, I hope we'll be able to show you, when we go out on Friday, some of these techniques that I'm talking about. One very important thing I'd like to mention to you on Friday is about keeping, when we go in the afternoon session, keeping your distance from the vehicle in front. We all get, the adrenaline starts going and we all get keyed up and everything, and we tend to get much too close to the guy in front. We're sitting on his back bumper the whole time. So this is usually a disaster, because if he gets stuck, the person behind is so close to him that he's got no other choice but to stop, and he gets stuck as well. Now, when we're out on Friday afternoon doing any convoy runs, keep a minimum of 10 lengths between you and the vehicle in front. That will give you sufficient time to decide what to do if he gets into trouble and slows down or has to stop. If you're much too close to him, you've got no option but to stop, and you're likely to get into the same sort of trouble as he's in.
And the second thing is dust. You will have a lot of dust between your car and the front of the car. And if you don't see what is happening, you might, go into the wrong place.
When you go out in the desert, lots of tracks and lots of little blind hills, brows on the hill. Now you might think that these tracks are deserted, nobody ever uses them, but you'd be amazed how many Bedou there are, camel people and their helpers living out in the desert. So the same rules of the road apply when you're on the desert tracks as when you're on the main road. Keep to the right.
And use an indicator of the car coming the other side to see where you're going, as much as you can.
Okay. Now, let me talk very quickly about recovery and the reason for the tow ropes and the shovels, because I always say that if you don't get stuck, you're not trying. If you don't get stuck, you're never testing your limit as to what you can do. So to make it more pleasant for you and testing your limit, you've got to know how to get out of situations when you get stuck. There are different types of getting stuck. Most probably the most obvious one is where you get into soft sand and you start churning away, and all of a sudden you find that your wheels are almost dug a great hole with the wheels, front and back, and the chassis resting on the sand. So, anybody been stuck like that?
Mm-hmm.
What did you do to get out? How did you get out of that?
Get back into the
Yeah. Okay.
We just cleared around the wheels, took away from the chassis underneath, and just took it out very slowly.
You were on no outside assistance?
Well, just two of us.
Just the two, that's very good.
Once
Right. Okay.
Plank.
Hmm?
Used a plank.
Sorry?
Wooden plank.
Planks? Okay. You had planks with you?
Some.
Some. Yeah.
We rocked the vehicle quite a bit, filled
Okay.
up the sand underneath
Fine.
where the cars are dug in,
Okay.
and then there was only three of us, so two was pushing, and it came out.
It's like a driver to sit in the car.
Now,
Fun, actually.
basically, what you have to do is obviously to get to a situation where you get traction from the wheels. Now, you can do that in one of two ways. With the sand sort of absolutely surrounding the tyre up to this sort of level, there's no way that this wheel is going to drive up such a steep slope, is it? And the back wheel at the same time, you're asking it to drive up a 45-degree, 50-degree slope. So, as our friend said, maybe one idea is to take away the sand and maybe try to make a shallow ramp. But then, okay, that's not too difficult for the front wheels. But then, if you've got to try and do that for the rear wheels, taking all the sand out from underneath the car. And don't forget, one of these four-wheel drives is most probably 6 or 7 feet wide, and you're lying on your belly with a spade trying to dig all the sand out. It's not so easy to get, make another ramp there. You can make a ramp at the back, that's fine, but that really doesn't help very much. If you can take the sand out, and you can get a shallow enough ramp to get some traction, maybe if you've got spare water with you, or you've got, you can sprinkle the sand with water to firm it up, or you've got some vegetation you can put under, or even a cotton durry or something like that to give a grip, you may make some progress. So, this type of recovery talks about reducing the angle of climb that the wheels have to tackle. The other basic principle is trying to lift the vehicle up. Now, if you've got a hole, two holes like that, and the vehicle wheels are sitting in these holes, what you've got to try and do is to fill these in underneath. If you can fill these in underneath, therefore the wheels is going to rise, isn't it?